It's a whole new year. Let's come into an easy seat, whatever that looks like for you. Welcome to 2024. So if this is your first practice with this group, or if you've been doing it since January of 2021, welcome. I like to remind all of us every day that this is your personal practice. So anything I say you can take as loving guidance, but nobody knows your situation, what feels good to you, what feels safe to you, better than you. So throughout this and any practice, if I'm offering something and it just doesn't work for you, you can just do what does work for you. Nothing has to be rigid here. All right, let's come into an easy seat. Maybe lengthen the spine. Maybe you can soften your shoulders down a little. And you might soften your gaze, closing your eyes or looking down your cheeks. Maybe you let your eyes rest on something that makes you feel a little smile. I'll invite the bell as we breathe deeply here. On your next in-breath, you're welcome to lengthen it to a point that feels good and welcome. And when it's time to breathe out, you can breathe out through the nose, mouth, maybe even sigh a little. Take a few rounds here. So just arriving, you've done the hardest part, which is showing up. And as we're dropping in, we might imagine connecting with all of the thousands and millions of beings who have come to this practice for thousands of years. There's nothing new here. So surely there must be something to it, right? If we keep coming back again and again. So with the next breath or two, you might think about what your yoga practice gives you or what you're hoping to gain from it. It might be something physical or more emotional. And I'll share a quote and then we'll get ourselves moving. So this is from Thich Nhat Hanh. If we take good care of ourselves, we help everyone. We stop being a source of suffering to the world and we become a reservoir of joy and freshness. Here and there are people who know how to take good care of themselves, who live joyfully and happily. They are our strongest support. Whatever they do for everyone. So if we take good care of ourselves, we help everyone. Let's come into child's pose. So take your time, coming first through tabletop. Go ahead and flatten the tops of your feet out on the ground. And you might even come up to your fingertips. Take a nice full breath in. And in your own time, exhale, press your hips back just however far they're willing to go at this point. You could stay up on your fingertips, let your head start to get heavy. And maybe here you're starting to feel compression through the belly. You can always adjust things, maybe even sit up, bring your hands to your belly. Imagine kind of picking it up and spreading it out as you fold forward again. Fingertips walking towards the top of the mat. Gentle engagement through your core to help you sink your hips back and down. Maybe you're feeling a stretch through the armpit area, through the low back and hips, maybe somewhere else. If this shape doesn't work for you, you can always do anything that does. The idea is just to give yourself a little bit more space to breathe in. Just another moment here. This winter season and the start of a new year for many of us can feel like a time to plant seeds, knowing that that's what nature is doing. Much of nature right now is going more dormant, more inward, collecting energy, building their reservoir so that we can emerge with new life as the daylight becomes longer. So you might think about what parts of your life could resonate with that. One more breath here. Slowly on an inhalation, let's rise up through tabletop. You can stay on fingertips or flatten your palms on the ground, gripping into your fingertips. Imagine rotating your arms a little bit so the inner elbows kind of face forwards. Engage your core, lengthen your low back. Tuck your right toes and slowly push them back on your mat until your right leg is long. Then press through your right heel. Breathing here, then drag your right toes way over to the left and look over your left shoulder. See if you can see your right toes. Keep pressing back through your heel. Notice where you feel stretch or sensation. Imagine breathing into that. And slowly bring your right leg back behind you, drop the right knee. Inhale, drop your belly, stretch your belly muscles, stretch your heart forward, stretch your throat as you look up. Exhale, chin towards chest, navel towards spine, tailbone rooting down while we arch our spine up like a cat. Breathing, come back to neutral. Engage your core, tuck your left toes, send the left leg long, press back through your heel. Slowly bring the left toes way over to the right side. Look over your right shoulder. Try to see your left toes. Keep pressing back through your heels so we're getting as long as we can through our side body. Stretching deep abdominal muscles, hip flexors. Another in-breath. And exhale, come back to tabletop. On your inhale, drop your belly, stretch the front of the body, Vidalasana, cow pose. Exhale, arch your spine, stretch the back of the body, Marjarasana, cat. Maybe press back through Balasana, child's pose, and then start to move at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling through cow and cat and maybe child's pose. Let's keep the jaw soft as we do this. If you feel a lot of weight in the wrists or heel of the hands, you can send some more energy to your fingertips or even come up to your fingertips or knuckles. You can stay like this, flexing your spine through cow and cat, or come back through neutral. We'll do some kind of barrel rolls through the chest. Imagine dragging your chest way over to the right side, and then up, and then over to the left side, and down, and then smooth it out. Like you're drawing a big circle with your chest. And you might keep your head kind of neutral, or you might let your head and neck move as well. And switch directions if you're taking this barrel roll option. It might help to start out slowly. Wonderful. As you're ready, return through neutral. Let's plant our hands, tuck the toes, big in-breath. Exhale, hover your knees off of the ground. Press back through your heels. Another inhale, hovering knees off the ground. Exhale, lift your hips, press your chest towards your legs. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. For some folks, settling in for stillness feels good. For some of us, some movement is better. So you might sway your hips side to side, pedal your feet. Try to keep your hands kind of glued to the mat. Imagine the fingertips really being the anchor point. And then if you do start to settle into stillness, really let the head and neck get heavy. You're pushing the ground away so energetically. The shoulders are sliding up towards your ears. You're remembering you can pause for a break anytime. Core muscles scooping in. Breath is full. Imagine the inner thighs spiraling towards each other and back. One more breath here. And come up high on your tippy toes. On an inhale, look forward between your hands. And on an exhale, tiptoe or hop up to the top of your mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Friendly reminder, I try to incorporate Sanskrit, one of the original languages yoga was taught in, because yoga was historically an oral tradition, taught teacher to student. And so anytime we can connect with that original language, thousands and thousands of years old, we can kind of connect with the roots and the heritage of this practice. Another breath in your forward fold. And on an inhale, you can lift up halfway, shoulder blades slide together, spine long. Exhale, fold back down. And inhale, rise up. Stretch your arms out and up, maybe look up. On an exhale, arms down by your side. Stand tall for a moment. If you have a block, you might grab that. Another friendly reminder, always good to have your props around if you use them. It's never required. I don't think they had foam blocks back in the day, but if you do, go ahead and squeeze it between your upper thighs. As you do that, imagine again, just like in down dog, imagine the thighs spiraling towards each other and back. That little internal rotation of the femur in the hip socket helps to open up the low back, gives you space to lengthen your low back, engage your core. Imagine lifting your front hip points. Let's lift the shoulders up, roll them back and down, let the palms face forward. Maybe even draw your chin back in space a little bit and then lift up through the crown of your head. And then we'll drop our awareness all the way down to the feet. Feel them rooting down while you're also lifting up. So that equal and opposite reaction, rooting down, rising up. On an inhale, slow motion, stretch your arms out and up. Keep breathing at the top. Maybe you hook your thumbs and pull up a little more. Tailbone is still rooting down. Maybe you press your hips forward, lift your heart up and back. Find a little standing back bend for one breath. And exhale, come through neutral, then fold forward. Keep squeezing the block if it's there. On your inhale, lift up halfway. On your exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Feet rooting down, arms stretching up. Exhale, hands to your heart and down by your side. Taking a couple of breaths into Tadasana, mountain pose. Maybe you soften your gaze here. And just a quick thought experiment. Imagine a habit you've been trying to pick up. Maybe it is this, maybe it's coming to yoga. And imagine if you do it really consistently for 10 years, what that would look or feel like for you. Maybe we can't even imagine, but we'll do our best. All right, and then imagine that you don't pick up whatever habit you are interested in gaining. And what does that look like in 10 years? And let's go ahead and go back to envisioning ourselves doing the thing and what that feels like. Inhale, stretch out and up. Exhale, fold forward. When you get there, go ahead and release the block if it's between your legs. Plant your hands, step one foot back and then the other, finding plank pose, Phalakasana. Press back through your heels. Remember, you can always drop your knees. Engage your core muscles so much that it's almost like you're tucking your tailbone under. Another inhale. On an exhale, we'll all drop our knees belly, chin. Point your toes back. Hug your arms in towards your sides. On an inhale, lift your heart, Bhujangasana Cobra. Press the tops of your feet into the ground. Maybe lift up a little more. Maybe lift your hands off of the ground so shoulders are really sliding together on the back body. Great way to counteract computer work. Another inhale. Exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes. Big breath in. Complete breath out. Press yourself up through plank or by any means necessary. Let's make our way to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. You can stay here. You could take a break in child's pose or just take a seat or flow through Chaturanga Dandasana. You can do that really anytime we hit down dog. There'll be a couple breaths for you. So inhaling forward to plank, then forward on your tippy toes. This is just an option. Exhale, lower halfway, hovering, untuck your toes. Inhale, upward facing dog, heart shining forwards. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so we'll all meet here. On an inhale, carefully lift your right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog, look forward. Exhale, step or swing your right foot to the top of the mat. Taking a breath here in this high runner's lunge, you can see that your right knee is over your right ankle. Maybe you bring blocks under your hands. Really try to pull the heart forward and press back through your left heel. Another breath or two. Good morning, Everett. Go ahead and drop your left knee, untuck the toes. Imagine squeezing the legs together so we've got a little lift in the pelvic floor. You could keep your hands grounded or sweep your arms up. And reaching up, up, up. Maybe you find a little back bend at the top. You could also interlace your fingers, placing your hands behind your head. Open your elbows out wide. Big in-breath. And exhale, hands return to frame the right foot. Keep your left hand on the ground, stretch your right arm up, taking a little twist to the right. Maybe you want to tuck your left toes, lift your left knee off of the ground. Still imagine squeezing your legs towards each other. Maybe you want to draw some big sweeping circles with the right arm. Whatever you're doing, check in with your foundation. Anytime in life, we can kind of check in with what our feet are feeling to help us feel more connected, grounded. When you're ready, bring your right hand back to the ground or block, drop your left knee, send your hips back, straighten your right leg. Let's keep the left hip pretty much over the left knee. So maybe you have to shimmy your right foot forward a little and then have the right toes point up towards the sky. Ardha Hanumanasana, you could untuck the left toes to give you a little bit more firm foundation. Imagine dragging your right hip back in space. Maybe fold forward a little deeper. Keep the shoulder blades sliding towards each other to help you lengthen your spine. And breathe. You can stay like this or bring your right toes to the ground. Try and feel a stretch on the top of your right ankle. Maybe you can feel it all the way on the top of the right foot, maybe even down to the toes. And then we'll bend into the right knee. Sweep your right arm back, up, and down on the inside of your right foot, transitioning to lizard shape, Uttan Prasthasana. Maybe we have blocks here as well. As always, you have lots of choices. You could stay just like this, the right arm on the inside of the right leg. Maybe you want to lower down to your forearms. I definitely use blocks for that personally. Maybe you want to tuck your left toes, lift the left knee off of the ground, press back through the heel. Either way, we're drawing the heart forward, breathing deeply. One more in breath. And out breath. Go ahead and release this shape. Bring your right hand to the outside of your right foot. Step yourself to plank, high or low. Inhale. Exhale, we'll all lower down. Point your toes back. Front of your pelvic bowl presses into the ground. Inhale, lift your chest. Maybe bring the hands up with you. Imagine bringing the front of your throat back through your neck. So elongating the spine. One more breath. And exhale, lower down, tuck your toes, arms are hugging in, press yourself up, make your way to downward facing dog. Remember, you've got time if you want to take a water break, take a chaturanga flow, do what suits you for a few breaths. And when you're ready, meeting in downward facing dog, inhale your left leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Look forward, exhale, step or swing your left foot to the top of the mat. Maybe bring blocks under your hands. Take a couple breaths here, drawing the heart forward. Left knee over left ankle. Right heel pressing back, getting that opposing energy. Drawing forward through your spine, pressing back through your right heel. Feel your feet on the ground. And we could drop the right knee, untuck the toes. Imagine squeezing your legs together, some sense of stability in the lower parts. You can keep your hands grounded or sweep your arms up. If your arms are up, then really stretch them up. You'll probably feel your shoulders sliding up. Maybe you can even feel them kissing the earlobes. You could stay like this or find a little back bend at the top. Maybe interlace your fingers. If so, take the opposite interlace. Cradling your head in your hands, opening your elbows out wide. Nice full open heart for a breath. Go ahead and release your hands to frame your left foot. Then we will send our hips back as we straighten our left leg. Bring your left toes to point up towards the sky and imagine hooking your left hip back in space. Breathe as you maybe fold forward. A few breaths here. Whatever you're doing, can you find a little ease in it? So I know I am always catching myself tensing and gripping and clenching. And just every time we notice these things, we can invite softness. Give ourselves permission to do things little by little by little. Another breath. If you want, bring your left toes to the ground. Try to feel something on the top of your left foot and ankle. Maybe you have two left ankles. That's a new. Okay, another breath. And then we'll bend the left knee, walk your hands forward. Bring the left hand up to the sky, taking a little twist to the left. Maybe you tuck your right toes and lift the right knee. Squeeze the legs towards each other as we rotate the torso, and you're always welcome to draw some big sweeping circles. So anytime we're moving the bones and the joints in safe ways, it can help produce synovial joint fluid. So this is like the Tin Man lubricating his joints. Another inhale and exhale. Lower your left hand down. Go ahead and drop the right knee. Sweep your left arm back up and to the front, coming into lizard shape. So maybe moving that block to the inside of your left ankle if you're using one. Draw your heart forward, lengthening your spine, and then maybe come down to forearms. Maybe you notice a difference from this side to the first side and what's available. You could imagine hugging your front leg towards your arm. Maybe you tuck your right toes and lift the right knee. However it's going, we'll celebrate that we are here. Another breath. And let's release this shape. When you feel ready, plant your hands, lifting your torso upright. Step your way back to plank pose for an inhale. Exhale, come right into downward facing dog, just passing through. Come up high on your toes, breathe in, look forward. Exhale, step or hop yourself to the top of your mat. You can bring your hands to your low back, soften your knees. Inhale with a long spine, lift your heart. Come to stand upright, straightening your legs, pressing your hips forward, lifting your heart up and back. Staying for another breath, maybe you flip your palms to face away from you, tops of your hands to your low back. And then release. Let's take a wider stance. So we kind of shook out on Friday, the last of 2023. Now let's do a little shaking to still always release, but also maybe to imagine it as creating space, calling in some energy, or allowing energy to flow through easier. So a wide stance, soft knees. You could keep it small, bouncing like a baby learning how to dance. Maybe you're a pro dancer and you want to shake it out a little bit more. Let's take 3 more breaths. You are welcome to sigh them out if that feels all right. Good. Come to stillness. Noticing that you are alive right now. What does that feel like? And let's go ahead and come onto the ground. Make your way to your mat and then roll onto your spine. Keep your feet on the ground, knees bent. And when you get here, you might stretch your arms up overhead. Maybe you open them out wide. Just a couple of breaths, letting your legs slowly fall side to side. So gentle twists, let your legs fall to one side and then to the other. All right, when you're ready, bring your legs through center, hug your knees in towards your chest, maybe wrap your arms around your knees or legs. You could rock side to side. You could take happy baby if you like that, drawing your knees away from each other, soles of the feet face the sky, reaching towards the pinky side edge of your feet, but maybe letting your hands just rest around your ankles or behind your knees. Just another breath or two. Good, and then we'll bring our feet to the ground. Slowly let your legs come long. Arms can move out away from your body, palms faced up. Always do what works for you. If you are bumping any props, you might push them out of the way so that you have some space to just exist unencumbered. Enjoy a few slow, full breaths here. If we take good care of ourselves, we help everyone. We stop being a source of suffering to the world and we become a reservoir of joy and freshness. Here and there are people who know how to take good care of themselves, who live joyfully and happily. They are our strongest support. Whatever they do for everyone. Thich Nhat Hanh, if we take good care of ourselves, we help everyone. Thank you so much for starting your year in such a positive way. If you want to close this time together by chanting Om, you are welcome to join me in an easy seat. And hands together at your heart. You're always welcome to hum or sigh or breathe, or if you'd like to chant the ancient sound of Om, sound of all that is, we'll inhale. Om. A deep bow of gratitude to you for sharing your practice and your time, and to all of the ancient teachers of yoga for giving us this amazing gift. Thank you for being here. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace to all. If you are going for 31 days in a row, well, bravo, you're one day down. I'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday at 7:15 Eastern.